Dr. Moreu, do your tang, man. Woo!
Do your thing, do your thing, your thing. Welcome to Do Your Ting Boxing, my video blog for February 17th, 2013. I want to welcome all the fans for Do Your Ting Boxing for checking out my weekly blog, and I do appreciate that. Today is Sunday. Just got finished watching the All-Star basketball game. Now, last night we had the amateur fights in Las Lunas at the high school. Shout out to TNT Boxing for making it possible. They put on a fundraiser for the amateurs to raise money for the Junior Olympics. It was a great night of action and fights, and it was definitely a great show. We had a lot of fun time. I got to be the ring announcer. Shout out to all the teams that made it possible, the coaches, the local LBC that all participated in the event. Last night, unfortunately, my daughter Moreu, she didn't come away with the victory. She was outpointed by Medica Valdez in a great fight, but it was a good experience for her to learn, especially she fought a girl that's older with more experience. So shout out to Medica Valdez and Moreu for putting on a great fight. And also to Vince Tapia, Vince Hiron from Team Tapia, that got Male Outstanding Fighter of the Night for his stoppage. Now, at the same time, we also want to give a special shout out to Fidel, Maldonado, the Trisco kid. He got a victory last night, third round TKO, actually knockout, against Jorge Romero down in Mexico, and is bringing home to New Mexico the WBC silver belt for 135 pounds. So much props to you. We're proud of you here in New Mexico, and keep doing your thing, son. Now, at the same time, coming up next week, February 23rd, there's going to be another amateur show. This is going to be held at the Mountain View Community Center down in Kennebrick in the South Valley area. If you're familiar with it, it's off, I believe, Rio Bravo on Broadway, somewhere in that area. You can just go on my website, check the schedule. I'll have an update listed in the next 24 hours so you can get to the directions. So support the amateurs here in New Mexico. We got a lot of great talent and upcoming stars. This is brought to you by Golden Glove Boxing. Soon the Golden Gloves will be held here in March, so there's a lot of good things coming to New Mexico. Also recently announced on March 30th at the Wool Warehouse, Chavez Promotions is going to be putting on another fight at the Wool Warehouse. It's going to be headlined by my boy Josh Pitbull Torres. He's going to be fighting Jose Weddle Sanchez in an 8-round bout. It's going to be a definitely great fight, so get your tickets while they last, because this event will sell out, and it's going to be a good show. Also on the card, I heard Amanda Crispin's going to be on it, Arturo Crispin, and also another rematch between Christian Cabral versus Michael Coco Gallegos. That's going to be outstanding fireworks. If you've seen the first fight, then you definitely know what you're going to expect for the second fight. Now, with my weekly blog, we have a mailbag. So I have people that send questions. I didn't get too many questions as I expected, but I did get a couple questions. So for right now, we're going to leave the names anonymous. If people want me to shout out the names of the questions, just go ahead and when you mailbag me at doyourtingboxing@gmail.com, just go ahead and tell me, hey, go ahead and shout me out, and I'll be more happy to shout me out. First question I had is a topic going on with New Mexico boxing. And recently there was an article that was put by Andy Rivera. Now, no disrespect to New Mexico boxing. I'm great friends with Chris Cazone. Definitely, everybody at the whole team from Geraldo all the way to Jose. Shout out to them. They've been doing a good thing for many years. So I'm not here to critique them in any type of way. But there was an article that was written that was critiquing and criticizing the local cards, especially the Tapia card that just recently happened. So the question that they had is, what did I think about that? Well, personally, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Any type of publicity, good or bad, is good publicity in my book. Personally, I'm going to be a little bit biased. As you see, I got the Team Tapia shirt on. Yeah, my daughter fights for Team Tapia, so I like the card. I thought they did a very great job. Crown Plaza, they packed over 800 people. It was real up close, personal. The tickets were affordable. The cards were good. People are complaining about the commission just putting anybody to fight. Boxing's a hard sport. thing about it is with boxing, it takes a lot of heart and guts to get in the ring. Back in the days, you know, people fought almost every week. People didn't question who turned pro and who got approved. Back in those days, you just fought. Whoever they put in front, that's a fight, and that's what a fighter is supposed to do. Joaquin Zamora, who's a friend of mine, wrote in and gave his response from a fighter's point of view to that, and I thought he did a great job. So shout outs to Joaquin Zamora. You're a stand-up brother. Keep doing your thing, and looking forward to seeing you in the ring soon. And, you know, all I can say is New Mexico Boxing has done a great job. They're entitled to their opinions, and keep doing what they do. Keep logging on to their website, just like you guys are logging on to Dourtingboxing. Now, the next question that I had is concerning the USA Boxing rule changes. Now, I think it's a great thing. What's going on is the open division is going to be from 19 years old to 40 years old. Okay, so they extended it out from 34 years old to 40, and now you cannot turn open until you're 19. Before it was 17, now it's 19. I think that's a good thing in some ways, because now people that are older, their career, career doesn't have to end at 34 years old. 19 is a more mature year. The only bad side I have about that is you have special kids that are 16, 17 years old that are too good for their own age group and need to be tested against better competition. So I do agree that, you know, maybe in some of these international tournaments like the Olympics or the Pan Am Games or the US, you know, ringside world nationals, that some of these kids be allowed to participate. Now, the bad flip side about that is there's going to be no headgear. Me personally, I agree that there shouldn't be headgear in the amateurs. It helps the amateurs get prepared for the pros, helps them with their defense. There's been studies done that kids actually can have more concussions by wearing headgear, because they can take the impact of the blows, and over a long period of time it could cause more damage than getting hit without the headgear. Now, there's going to be more cuts, so a lot of these kids are going to need to have cut men now to work the cuts. But I'm pretty sure the officials now are going to stop the fight sooner. If there's cuts, you know, knockdowns now are going to count, because they're going to go to a 10-point scoring system, which I think is great. That's been hurting our amateurs for so long. Some amateurs fight as pros, so it doesn't benefit them in the amateur scoring. Some of these amateurs fight amateurish, so when they go to the pros, it doesn't benefit them. Since the whole ultimate goal is to go from the amateur to a pro, I think it's good to have a 10-point scoring system, and I'm really looking forward for that to go into effect. So overall, the new changes that USA Boxing has done, I think is better for the sport, and it's better for boxing, and I'm really looking forward for it. Now, this is a topic, the next question I have, that many people have talked about in New Mexico, and it's been a hot topic for years. It's the matchup between Fidel, Maldonado, and Archie Marquez. Now, what I think about that is, eventually, I think it'll be a great fight. Fidel just won a bout last night, so now it makes the fight more intriguing. Maybe that they can fight for that bout now, but I think the fight still needs to be built more. That way there could be more money on the table. Maybe do a couple promotions where both fighters are on the card to build the fight, even though some people feel that New Mexico doesn't need to build a fight. But I think so these fighters could get paid to entertain us properly. They should build it up, do a couple, 2 or 3 events where they're on the card together to build it. Hopefully Showbox, HBO, ESPN picks up the card, picks up the fight, and is able to display it. Maybe the fight might have to take place out of state, kind of like Danny versus Johnny. But I think eventually the fight should happen. It's going to be an interesting fight between both of them. They're both personal friends of mine. Archie trains at the Tapia gym with my daughter, so I'm good friends with him, and I'm good friends with Fidel as well. They're both stand-up guys. Much love, much respect. You guys are doing your thing. Now, if you guys want to have a prediction on the fight, I'll wait until the fight gets announced. Okay? Then you can check on the mailbag the week before the fight, and I'll give you my prediction. But for right now, let's just support both fighters and get behind them, because we don't need our New Mexico fighters to jump in the ring and beat each other before they get a chance to shine. It's better to let them both shine. That way there's more to the table, and it gives the state more shine. Now, another topic that I had, last night Adrian Broner fought a great fight against that Gavin Rees. I think he's an amazing talent. So the question I was asked is, how would Broner do versus Gamboa? Well, personally, I think Broner's too much for Gamboa. I think he's too fast. basically too much skills, too polished. He comes to destroy you. Don't get me wrong, Gamboa is fast as well too when he has power, but his power is at a different weight. It's more at a 126, 130. He hasn't been proven at 135 yet. And Broner, yeah, he got hit last night, but he's willing to take that chance. He's shown he has a good chin so far, and he's willing to take that chance to give something. And I just really think Gamboa does not have the chin to stand up to Broner's power. I think eventually he's going to go to sleep. As Broner said last night, it's going to be rockabye baby. You know, it'll be a great fight for boxing. One thing that I've heard in interviews is Broner said that he's not interested in Gamboa because of the PED steroid scandal that Gamboa just recently got caught up in. So hopefully he could clear his name on that. If he's on them steroids and you're doing them steroids, then that's a black eye to the sport, and definitely you should be suspended or possibly banned from it, because we don't need that in the sport right now. So I think that's a great thing. But on my pick on that right now, I would have to go with Adrian Broner. I think he's the next great thing in boxing, and I think he's building to the proper steps to possibly be better than Floyd Mayweather one day, but it's still too young in his career. As we know, in boxing, anything can happen. One punch could end it. Now, there's been news, which is great, and this is the next question, is Trout from Las Cruces is recently got announced that he's going to fight Canelo in Vegas on the undercard of Mayweather's next fight, May 4th. Now, I'm rooting for Austin, no doubt Trout. I think he's going to take Canelo to school. Canelo hasn't fought anybody at 154 that's a true junior middleweight. All the guys he's pretty much beat are guys that moved up in weight. A lot of these guys are 140 pounders, 135 pounders. He hasn't fought a real 154 pounder. Personally, I believe Cotto was a stronger fighter than Canelo. And we've seen what Austin's able to do. His feet are faster, his hands is faster, he uses his angles really good. I think it's just going to be, he's just going to box the guy's ears off and expose him. I think Canelo is a great prospect as far as talent-wise, but he's kind of a golden boy hype job. Now, you never know, he could prove me wrong. But right now I can't bet against Trout. Trout already proved everybody wrong with the Cotto fight, and he's right now on a good streak, and he's on the upcoming right now to do some great things for himself in the boxing here in New Mexico. So that's pretty much my weekly blog that I had for this week of February 17, 2013. If you want to email me, you can email me at doyourtingboxing@gmail.com for any type of mailbag questions, anything you want to do. If you want to critique me, go ahead. There's you can also go to my blog and leave a comment on there. Okay, I'm going to continue to do this weekly blog every week, so be expecting it to come either Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. You know, I like to try to get it on Sundays, but, you know, life is sometimes busy. So if I can't get it on that Sunday, I do apologize, but it will be there every week. So just stay tuned. Do Your Ting Boxing. We appreciate your support. Shout out to all the fighters here in New Mexico, all the coaches, all the amateurs, and definitely, y'all do your ting in the ring. Continue to do what you got to do, and we'll be covering. Check you next week. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Moreu, do your ting, man. Woo!
Do your ting, do your ting, your ting.